You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 402 of Podketeers. This week, Mel tells us about how her recent event went. The Haunted Mansion reboot film that we've been talking about for years finally has a release date. A return date has been announced for World of Color and Fantasmic, and coming along for the ride is the Main Street Electrical Parade, but with some interesting changes. Stan Lee is honored with a plaque in Avengers Campus, the Netflix Marvel shows are coming to Disney+, and we talk about some of the footage that we've been seeing from the preview event for the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. We'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that we talked about in this episode. You can join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, but we'd really love for you to join us over on our Discord server. Joining is super simple. You can head on over to podketeers.com/402 and click on the Discord logo, or you can click on the link in our pinned Instagram story to join us as well. March Mayhem is next week. This year, snacks are taking center stage. Will your favorite snack win the tournament? Make sure to join us on Instagram to vote for your favorites. A special thank you goes out to an awesome group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more info on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. It's time to start the podcast. So for all of you that are joining us for the first time, thanks for hanging out with us. We hope that you enjoy your time and that you come back for more. And if you've been hanging with us for some time, welcome back. This is episode 402 of Podketeers.
Yeah, I was early. Sorry.
As they say on TikTok. What is that? I like it. Picasso. I know how Andrew loves the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Here's a bunch of words that seem to make sense in this podcast.
I don't know, some Italian music. You
know what's funny? The crazy thing is that after you mentioned it in the last podcast, like I saw so many of those videos pop up.
Like,
and generally I see like one or two a week or something, but after you mentioned it, for some odd reason, just all over my FYP.
It's just listening to it. It's like, hey, mamma mia, pizza pie, and ice cream or something. Whatever. I don't know the lyrics are of that song. Hopefully we'll see what comes up this week. I know that over the weekend there was a ton of videos coming about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, since a bunch of people had an opportunity to visit. So we're going to be talking about that later on in the episode. But Mel,
Yes?
I want to ask, how was the event? It was Isle of... I always
Magic?
get this wrong. Yeah,
It's
Isle
okay.
of Magic.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a collective of a bunch of crafters getting together somewhere, selling a bunch of the stuff that you make, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
where was it held and how did that go?
This was held in Stanton, which is just a few miles from Anaheim. So I would say about 20 minutes from Disneyland at the Boys and Girls Club. And this event was super special because we've had this event for 2 years and it's only been virtual. So we've been like building up this community and this event. And when it came to that day, it was magical. Like this event, it was so cool because you got to see everybody, you got to meet everybody, and you got to see like everyone's art. And dude, I miss that. I miss those days. Like it was good. The event there was 22 of us with canopies, and there was about 8 to 10 tables. We filled up the whole gym.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, so it was really, really cool, and everybody stepped up and brought their A game with with their setups and everything that they wanted to bring. Um, so I don't know, I forgot to mention it was a 2-day event, and each day they had raffles. We had professors, since it was more of like a Harry Potter type theme event. So you had professors like showing everybody like how to either draw a character or how to make a potion that they could take home. It was really, really cool. And you could have just signed up for free and just gone and just, had a lesson or two and take some stuff home, meet some new friends. And it was just so cool. So cool. Sorry if I sound tired. I am. I don't know how I made it to work. But day one, we actually had someone come in, a high schooler, very young high schooler. She was performing and she was singing some alternative songs. And she did this acoustically, and it was fun. And just to get like the outside elements of like live music and activities and just motion. I think just we really missed it. It was like that one sense of normalcy where you got to do your thing and whatnot. Now, let me say this. Everyone had anxiety. No one slept. No one slept. I got to talk to a few of the vendors and the artists and just asking, how they're doing, how they've been, because we would interact, on Instagram. And everybody would be like, I didn't get to sleep. I only slept like 5 hours, 4 hours. I think, and it was basically, we haven't done this for 2 years. So to kind of step back into it and get over the social anxiety, yeah, that was kind of hard. But Sunday was more energetic. I mean, we got sleep. Thankfully, that was the best thing. We got sleep. And the energy was just fantastic. We were busy both days. And I know I didn't get to like really post as much, but it was kind of like, do I post? Do I eat? Do I go to the restroom? Like you have to be careful.
Yep. Yep.
So I was like, okay, pick and choose your battles here. But overall, I mean, I went by myself. I was supposed to have Jill with me, but she didn't make it. Yeah. But I was able to just freely go to the restroom if I had to without any worry, because I guess you would say my neighbors, they were always there and we were always chatting, and you kind of felt like just comfort. So that was a pretty cool thing. And that was pretty awesome. I mean, the staff was great. Really helpful because I had a dolly break.
That sucks.
I had a dolly break. Like, you had to park, and where you parked, you had to unload, right? Mm-hmm. Unload. I cross the crosswalk, and I make it to the other side, and it breaks.
No.
No.
Yeah. So that happened on Saturday, but they were so awesome that they lent me a wagon so I could unload the rest of the stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were amazing. I'm excited to actually let everyone know that there's going to be an event in September. So there's no date yet, but that's been announced today. So we'll see, how it goes. And I mean, I'm excited. If I could try to do it again, I would. I missed it. I totally missed it. The setup and everything, and just meeting everyone, and just, you make those connections and stuff. So
yeah,
it was awesome. Magical to, like it says its name. I mean, that's pretty much what I could say. It's just, I had a blast.
That's so cool. I'm glad you had fun. Even before the pandemic, it had already been, several years since I haven't been a part of that world already. And I miss it too.
Yeah.
There's something about just being around other creative people and, talking and exchanging, how you do certain things or things that you
Yeah.
like and getting together after for tacos and I
Right.
don't know, just like all of it. Like I miss the camaraderie and
Mm-hmm.
I regret not having the opportunity to go this weekend because we planned on actually going and then, things around here just, things around here happen. And
Right.
so, we didn't get an opportunity to go, but hopefully for the September one, we'll head out and, we'll hang out with you for a little while because pretty
Sweet.
much the other ones that we've had an opportunity to go to, they're always fun.
Yeah.
There's you, there's other vendors, there's usually food involved in some of these that you've done before. Like the last one was the one in Anaheim.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Promenade. Or it was the Promenade, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the Promenade, because I remember the comic book shop was like right across the street from where you had your booth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, in general, that whole getting together, setting up your booth, sell or no sell, that you have a good time and you make those
Yeah.
connections, and that's where you, Jill, and I became such good friends. From doing the art walks back in the day. So they're very special to me. I'm so glad you had fun. That's
Oh,
awesome.
thanks.
I didn't know what to expect. We've had talks about those anxieties before, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you were able to get past it, and I'm glad that it was a fun event.
Thanks.
Did you get a chance to snoop around and buy anything? Did you come away with anything good, or did
Oh,
you just
dude,
sell
yes.
stuff?
Always. The goal is usually make more than buying than what you buy. But no, there was a few pieces that I already had known that was going to be there because I have been following the artist, and I'm like, I gotta have these pieces because they spoke to me. So yeah, I came home with art prints, stickers, an adorable churro keychain
Oh,
that's felted. It was so cute. I came home with other pieces. I can't think. I know I can't think of it on the top of my head, but I did post them.
okay.
But yeah, no, dude, I I
A
told
nice
myself,
haul.
yeah, I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna wait until like 5:30 to 6, see if it gets slow, and then kind of hop through. And so I would go, keep an eye on my booth, and then if I saw someone, I ran back. And then once it was clear, I would go off to the other side and then see the other things and then just go from there. But if I could, I wish I had a little bit more time. Or if I had someone, I would probably have spent more because there was so many cool stuff. Like there was such a variety of fandoms, which was cool.
Now I feel even worse about not trying to figure out how to make it down. Ah,
It's okay. I mean, things happen. Just
Just have one eye on the booth, one eye on the stuff you're shopping for.
that's
Right.
Eyes work, right?
That's right.
peek through.
That's funny. I think Andrew was asking if you bought anything because he was wondering if you saw any cool Roger Rabbit stuff.
Yeah, no.
I did not. Trust me, I would have picked.
She
them
would
up.
have
I
sent me a
would've.
photo. She's like, okay, look at this thing right here. How many do you want? All of them, please.
Actually, I want to say a lot of it was just Disney characters, but man, if I saw Hattie stuff, I picked. I love there could be a million types of Hatties. I love them all. So, yeah.
Well, again, Mel, I'm so happy that you had an opportunity to do that. I'm hoping that if you go to the one in September, because you have to do these, they're by invite, right? You just don't sign up. Like, they invite you to do it?
No, we actually had to apply for it, and then it goes to a jury, and then they figure out who's like the best fit, and then they
right on.
let us know. Yeah. So, yeah, I should be
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Sweet. Looking forward to the next one. Since we're in the area, why don't we hop over to Disneyland and
Sure.
talk about some stuff happening in the parks? Because this week was full of news.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go through weeks where not a lot is happening, but this week there's a lot of good stuff happening. One of the biggest pieces of news that we got was that the Main Street Electrical Parade is coming out of retirement for the 97th time, just in time for the 50th anniversary of the parade. We posted it on Instagram, and we had some back and forth there. We had some back and forth on Discord about the parade itself. I mean, I think both of you shared your thoughts already in the post, but your thoughts about what's coming, what we're gonna see, because we got a huge surprise as far as what's going to end the parade when it comes back.
Yeah. Happy birthday to me, because this is crazy.
Happy birthday.
This is gonna make its debut on that weekend, and I'm like, all right, cool, very, very cool. But is this hook, line, and sinker? I don't know, because of Encanto and Coco. Disney's playing with my heartstrings this time. So yeah, I am excited to see these things, and who knows? I mean, I may come out saying, hey, it's a 10, because right now it's a 7.5. So I'm loving the changes and the additions, and I can't wait to see them. So, yay.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's replacing the big strip of bacon that used to end the show. I don't know what the big piece of bacon had to do with, like, the big eagle or whatever, but
Sparkly bacon.
Sparkly bacon used to end the Main Street Electrical Parade, and now it's
Mel, please make me a piece of sparkly bacon.
sparkly bacon brooch, sparkly bacon hat,
Yep.
sparkly bacon.
Writing it down.
Once you make it, we'll take a really high-res picture and put it on a T-shirt. Sparkly bacon.
You have to have the bird there too, sparkly bacon, and then like the eagle for some
And bird.
and bird, but not bird from Autopia though, right? Bird.
No.
No.
Different type of bird.
Different bird.
Robo bird.
Robo bird. Anyway, yeah, it looks real cool. It's kind of keeping in that, if you look at the designs of it, it does have that wavy kind of thing going through. I'm sure these are repurposed units from that float that are being turned into this. And it's a lot of like, it looks like the 90s and on properties. So you got, well, except for the Blue Fairy. So the Blue Fairy gets her comeback to the Main Street Electrical Parade instead of starting the parade now in the finale. But besides the Blue Fairy, it looks like it's like Hercules and I don't have the picture up, but Coco, Raya, I believe, is in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Encanto.
Here's everything that I see.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the images because, we posted actual footage of them testing the parade on our Instagram. Go check our Instagram reels if you want to see that video of actual test footage. So it's the Blue Fairy, and on the same float we have Merida and Hercules. On the next float, it looks like we have Miguel from Coco and Tiana on the opposite side. And then we have Moana, and then we have Mulan on the opposite side. And then we have Pocahontas, and on the opposite side we have Anna and Elsa. And then we have Raya and Mowgli on the other side of the float. Then
Love
we
it.
have Aladdin and Jasmine, and we have what looks like Mirabel and
Antonio.
what is
Antonio.
Antonio.
Yeah,
I keep
there's a flip
spazzing out
image
his
where
name.
you definitely see them.
Yeah, and then this big It's a Small World looking float looking thing at the end to cap it all off.
That's the bird.
And, yeah, that's
they
the
just
bird.
covered up the bird with the
Yeah. Now, it is interesting that in the concept art, a lot of the figurines or a lot of the figures look like It's a Small World characters. So it looks
Yeah.
like that's the main inspiration for this float.
I love it.
I wonder if that's going to be the music underneath the, with the Baroque hoedown. Is it going to be Small World music? Are they going to try and incorporate every single one of these themes from each of these, films? Because it's like a dozen films,
Yeah.
putting those underneath,
That's really impressive if they
So,
do.
Yeah.
They just pick one, or they do It's a Small World, and it's like the It's a Small World.
If they end up kind of integrating another song, I think that it's going to be It's a Small World, because it kind of encompasses all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we posted and what was posted by the Disney D23 account, all of this is concept art. We don't know what the final float is going to look like. This just kind of gives us an idea of what they've been playing around with. You know, honestly, like, I know people are saying, like, oh, this is so cool, you know, I love it. So I know overall reception is positive for this, and people are like, oh, great. You know, when we asked on Discord, like, we asked, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, how are you feeling about this returning? Very high 10, right? A lot of people are really excited about this. But I have a couple of problems with it.
Okay.
Now, first of all, y'all know how I feel about Main Street Electrical Parade.
Right.
I'm not going to keep beating that into the ground. I don't hate it. I just don't love it as much as other people do. I didn't grow up with it. I don't have this emotional connection with it. So I think it's just fine. The nostalgia factor is cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this breaks nostalgia. This is no longer a nostalgia act. This is now them trying to give us a new version of the Main Street Electrical Parade. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Main Street Electrical Parade is, like, for me, really, when I saw this, I think I started to realize what I don't like about it. And maybe I realized this before and I mentioned it before, but it really stuck true to me this time. The entire parade is so dull. It's not vibrant. It's just old yellow light bulbs, kind of, you know, faded colors. And it's great. That was the technology at the time.
Right.
But now I've seen, at least a video. I've never seen it in person, but I've seen a video of Dreamlights. I've seen Paint the Night in person. And to me, that is where the future of this type of night parade is. It's so beautiful and vibrant. For me, like, when I go out and I photograph things, I love color. I love the vibrancy. I love to celebrate how beautiful all the colors mix together. Main Street Electrical Parade doesn't do that for me. Like, it's just a really opaque old light bulb to me.
And you're not alone.
And not speaking ill of it. Like, I get it. I get the nostalgia thing.
You're an old light bulb.
I am. And these floats, as beautiful as they look, and as beautiful as they're going to look when Imagineering works on them, they're not going to fit the parade. Now, if they retrofit the entire parade, upgrade the lighting, and, you know, you kind of get that Dreamlights treatment, okay, then we can talk. You know, maybe then I'll be more excited about it, because then, it'll hit that nostalgia, you know, that I don't necessarily have about it, but maybe I can create new memories, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this, for me, breaks the Main Street Electrical Parade, because there's going to be this, like, real drab part of it, and then boom! Billions of little beautiful lights lighting up the sky and Main Street in all these colors that make me feel like I'm watching Paint the Night, but I'm not.
But see, I think if they're going to do this to this, I think they're going to do it to everything else. I feel like that, and I'm probably the last person to defend this parade. I have been on record saying Paint the Night is my jam, my everything. And yeah, you explained why, because of the technology. And that's why we gravitate to it. But if they could do this, who knows? I mean, this is beautiful, the colors and everything.
Yeah.
For me, it's like so for MSCP, I love Elliot. Elliot is like that one. I will wait for Elliot and then I will leave. So I say that in the kindest way too. I do. But I really think that if they were to do that and bring that kind of life, like I feel like it's going to be cohesive. I kind of think it's silly if they were to be like, leave this, let's bring this. That just. So I'm wishful thinking. I'm hoping that what we see is going to be what we see like throughout the whole thing. And who knows? I mean, look, you guys are going to see it because I'm most likely going to be, on Instagram showing it. So I, one way or another, we're going to see some stuff. I will try my best to get footage. I will be there. So you guys will see it.
And I just want to be clear. I'm not hating on it.
You're a light bulb.
I just think that if you're going to go through all the trouble, I don't know. Again, mixed feelings. Because if they do what you said, where they upgrade the entire parade, maybe I'll appreciate it more.
Right, yeah.
And I'll appreciate it visually more. Because I appreciate the legacy. I do want to make that clear. I appreciate the legacy. I understand it. And I know what it means to people. And I don't want to take that away. I'm nobody to take that away from anybody. But it's just not as vibrant as the other parade. That's what I like to see.
I miss
And
Mac.
this is going to break that. And if they do that to the entire parade, then great. Again, let's talk. Maybe this will now become my favorite parade after I see this version. Because you're right. The Elliott float is amazing.
It is.
I don't know. I want them to bring back Paint the Night. I'm sorry.
I know. Me too.
But this might be the next best thing if they upgrade the whole thing. If they don't upgrade the whole thing and this is all we get, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Oh, I mean, I think we all will.
Not that Disney's going to care. They're going to be like, and what? Are you still going to come? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still going to watch it? Yeah, probably. Are you going to possibly like shed a tear? Maybe. I don't know. You don't know my life. But overall, I'm glad that we're getting some kind of nighttime parade back. It's been a really long time. I know that little by little things are starting to go back to their regularly scheduled programs. And this is just one of those things, the parades are coming back. Trams, we talked about them in the last episode. They're finally running back at the resort. Alongside the announcement that Main Street Electrical Parade was getting this new finale float, or at least the concept for what's possible for a new finale float. World of Color and Fantasmic were announced to be coming back in May, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Those are also two shows that just light up the night, and we have a lot of great memories hanging out watching both of those shows. So I'm happy that those are finally going to be coming back as well.
Yeah, Dragon Time.
Yeah. Well, did I read correctly, or am I making it up in my head that at some point they mentioned that, or somebody mentioned, I don't know. I'm afraid to say it because I don't like to rumor monger, but I thought I read somewhere that they were mentioning that they were getting rid of some of the Fantasmic scenes and they were going to be replaced when it comes back.
I haven't heard that, but they just redid it, like, what was it, like a year or two before the pandemic? So I don't know why they would be retooling any more of it, because the whole thing is just, everything of that show was touched. Nothing was really left alone. Everything was changed a little bit. So, they took my favorite scene out of it. Well, one of my favorite scenes. Two of my favorite. I don't know. I like the original Fantasmic. The new one's great still. I have a soft spot. I can't talk right now. Spart. Those sparts you got right here?
Yeah, no, I totally.
I got one of those for the original Fantasmic. But yeah, I haven't heard that along the wire, so hopefully it's not true. But you never know. But yeah, World of Color finally coming back after everything flooded and broke and then took forever to come back. So hopefully that's going to be
awesome.
Cool. I wonder what version of the show we're going to get.
Yeah.
Because who knows, is it going to be the original? Is it going to be, because it's been so long since World of Colors happened that I don't even really remember where we last left World of Color during a regular, time. Because before it was like, okay, here's the World of Color, and then they have like, here's the spot for the new movie that goes in there. So yeah.
You want to know which version was the last one that I saw?
Sure.
World of Color Celebrate, which was the one for the Diamond Celebration where they had Neil Patrick Harris as part of the show. That was
weird, that one, yeah.
That's the last one I remember seeing before everything just went away. And that's a long
yeah.
time ago. Like, that's 7 years ago now.
The last one,
Yeah.
I think the last World of Color I saw was the one time they did it. I guess they did it 2 times at the Oogie Boogie Bash. I think that was the last World of Color I saw was
Nice.
Oogie Boogie Bash.
That's
I might have
pretty
been
cool.
with you, Melissa. Maybe
I didn't get to see it.
Did you not see it?
No, when we went,
Well,
they
then
didn't
maybe
have
not.
it.
I know I saw it at least once, the Oogie Boogie Bash one. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that might have been the last World of Color version I've seen. But excited for it to come back.
I wouldn't mind if they went to the original. I miss the pirate segment.
Yeah.
It's epic. It's so epic.
But then they added that big old fireball with the ring that everybody's
Yeah.
like, there's an alien or something.
You remember that when everyone went crazy?
People were freaking out over it. Everybody
good
thought they were going to
times.
get abducted. Awesome. Well, I guess we'll put the question out there. If you love Fantasmic, it's the same show. Oh, what if they brought back Fantasmic and they brought back the original scenes just rejiggered for the new version of the show?
Yeah, that'd be better. We put the Peter Pan one back instead of the Pirates of the Caribbean one, and then take
No,
the
but
dub-
they left the Pirates of the Caribbean part.
Oh, they just add more.
Yeah.
So the show's like
the first
45
half of the ship
minutes.
is Peter Pan and Hook. The back part of the ship is the Black
Jack
Pearl.
Sparrow. and then they get that. My favorite part of of Fantasmic was like in the Pink Elephants song. It was all this like guitar soloing, and I just really love that. Now it's like dubstep or something, and so it doesn't hit the same way for me. But I'm also a grumpy old man, so. What are you gonna do? But
Are you an old light bulb too?
I'm an old light bulb. Just a bunch of old light bulbs here on Podketeers.
As long as we have my dragon, that's it. I miss her.
Yeah.
She breathes the fire
Yeah.
in the air. That's the coolest thing that they
Yeah.
added. Like more fire,
Yeah,
lasers.
more fire. Makes
Yeah,
people
more
happy.
fires. They upgraded the lighting package, and lighting package is great, but we don't need to talk about that
They
now.
upgraded to the nicer lighting package.
It was
this
just
time.
a newer, like, the lights that were in there were from 1992.
See,
or,
old
you know,
light bulbs,
unless-
man.
Old light bulbs, and then they went to, I'm pretty sure they went to Roby brand and maybe some Martin stuff. Anyway, nobody's gonna care besides me about the brand. Of
I
lights,
care. I love that stuff.
but, yeah, moving lights. They got rid of all the manual spotlights. There used to be like 6 or 8 manual spotlights that people would climb up on the top of those towers and spot the people manually, and they went to all automated spotlights. That was one of the big lighting changes that they implemented in the new. Yeah, so interesting. And lots of lasers and lots of more lights on Tom Sawyer Island. And I could talk about the lights forever, but we got lots of other stuff to talk about. Like, you know what we could talk about, Hazen?
Well, before I know what you want to talk about.
No, but I really want to talk about it. But before it, what are we going to talk about?
We're on the same wavelength here. I know
Okay.
exactly what you want to say. But I
What?
do want to put a question out for everybody before
Okay.
we do that.
Okay, let's ask
With
him.
all the World of Colors that happened, which World of Color version do you want to see come back?
Yeah.
If you have a favorite World of Color, join the conversation over on Instagram or join us over on our Discord server if you haven't become a member. It's super easy. Head over to our Instagram account. You'll see a pinned IG story for Discord. You can click the link and you'll be able to sign up through that. Which version of World of Color would you like to see come back?
And there is a wrong answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
There is not
I
a
will.
wrong
I
answer.
won't tell anybody what it is, but there's a wrong one. No, just kidding.
Well, I know there's a wrong answer for one other thing that's coming back, and we'll talk about it right after this thing we're going to talk about, which is about a wonderful group of people that help us out
Oh,
on
they're
a
so
monthly
great.
basis. Do you know what they're called?
Is it the PIMP squad?
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
RESPECT squad?
Maybe.
The MICKEYMOUSE squad?
Very close.
I remember now. The JFK squad.
No.
No.
I don't know.
Can I make this go? Oh, you're talking about the FGP squad. That's
the FGP
right.
Squad. Yeah, exactly. The FGP Squad, or as we call them, our podcast, Fairy Godparents, do help us out with a monthly contribution via Patreon, and it's that support that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you want more info on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you can head on over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, a link to our Patreon, and some info on the FGP Squad itself. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help you or answer any questions. But essentially, being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks, like access to additional content on Patreon, our happy hour calls, random gifts that I like to send out to people.
They're really nice.
More. And there's a special section on the Discord server for the FGP Squad by itself. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad family, we just want to say thank you for all of your continued support. So back to this thing that I was about to mention before we move on to all the other stuff that's happening or that happened this last week. Disneyland Forever is coming back. What's up?
Yeah.
That's right.
Crickets.
Really?
Crickets.
No.
Really, Andrew?
I like it. I love it. I mean, Coco. Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Look, if it was good enough to bring back, I don't know, what, in 2019? It's good enough to bring back in 2022. How come you don't want them to bring that back, but yet you're okay with them bringing back the Main Street Electrical Parade?
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm fine with them bringing back Disneyland Forever. I just know, just like how you know in your heart that there's a better parade out there that's just sitting back there just waiting to be rolled out. There's just a better parade or just a better fireworks show just right in the hopper. You just put in a different CD and load up a different set of fireworks, and there it is. Remember Dreams Come True. The greatest fireworks show that ever existed. It's right there. It's right there. You know what? I think I know what they're doing. They're like, we got this. We'll get this Disneyland Forever thing. We'll put it out there until we can retool and add, the Galaxy's Edge section to Remember Dreams Come True, and we can do the better projections section. And that way, when the prodigal son returns to Disneyland, Remember Dreams Come True, well, it'll be back and better than ever. Am I hyping this fireworks show up?
Look,
enough?
You've convinced me. I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
It all started with an orange grove, Hazen.
It did. Look, I have to admit, I love Remember Dreams Come True. If I remember correctly, as far as the regular fireworks shows, I mean, it does hold a very special place in my heart. Disneyland Forever, I think, it's a different feeling, for me. I still love it. I think it's great. They introduced a whole lot of technology, and I think that's what it is. I love technology. Mm-hmm. Now, you said something very key, and it kind of goes back to what Mel was talking about earlier. If they did go back and they retooled Remember Dreams Come True with some of the new tech that they have now, I'll be like, Disneyland Forever, what?
Yeah.
Like, who? What? I would totally love it if they brought back Remember Dreams Come True with some of the new technology that they have. It's an amazing fireworks show. I am glad that Disneyland Forever is coming back, but I kind of understand why they're bringing it back. It's in the title. Right? After not having Disneyland for almost 2 years, and everything is starting to reopen, they're kind of reminding you that regardless of everything that's going on, it's here.
But Hazen, regardless of everything that's going on, you just have to remember, dreams come true.
No, I get it.
Disneyland can reopen. Dreams come true.
I get it.
Yeah, come on, man.
Look,
it works either way.
It does work either way, but I really love what
saying.
you said, though. I really love what you said, because if that is the reason they brought back this one, so that we have some kind of fireworks, and then they retool the other one to make it all snazzy and polished and new tech, and they brought in some stuff from dude, the Mandalorian in firework form.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing Grogu up in the sky.
Yep.
For reals.
Come on, man. All right, I'm all over it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
I
all
just
over
have I have a little like sour taste of Remember Dreams I'm sorry, not that of Disneyland Forever because
Because of the
It's-
cupcakes that day?
no, it's
Oh,
because
I forgot about those cupcakes.
it's because
If you know, you know.
if you know. Anyway, it's because this was like, okay, we're here, we're going to celebrate Disneyland. It's Disneyland's 60th. And then, we go, okay, here it started. There's a projection of Walt and the oranges. And then they're like, and now it's Aladdin and Coco and whatever. Like, that has nothing to do with Disneyland's 60th. And it's the kind of the same thing that's happening over Walt Disney World right now where they're having the 50th. And they don't have anything in their fireworks show that has anything to do with the celebration of the park's 50th. It's like, okay, here's just the movies again. It's all the movies.
Yeah.
Everything's the movies. But the parks are, just as bankable to the people are there at Disneyland. So I'm assuming they know somewhat about Disneyland, even if it's not the complete history of Disneyland. But if you're doing an anniversary show, you'd think you'd want a little bit of something in there about the history instead of just having the song from Brave or whatever happened. So that's my like little beef with Disneyland Forever. It is a good fireworks show. It is a fun show to watch and it's exciting. But that's my long-standing beef with Disneyland Forever.
Maybe they're just trying to tell you how far they've come.
Yeah, but what does that have
Or
to
how
do with
far they'll
Disneyland?
go.
Disneyland Forever, there will just be IP rides. I guess that's what they're trying to tell us. There will always, forever and eternity, we'll just have IP in the park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing.
That's what they're trying to tell us. It makes me sad.
Well, can I? Oh gosh.
Go
There is
ahead.
a kind of a connection. Coco is represented in Disneyland and Frontierland.
I mean, you
So
can do
there's-
that
there's
too. There's a
some.
Peter Pan ride in Fantasyland. Like, there's all the dolls and it's a small world. Like, I get it. I'm just making a controversy for no reason.
You troublemaker.
Arguing makes good podcast, right?
Yeah, well, look, I think I've given enough people enough to argue with me when I was talking about the Main Street Electrical Parade earlier.
Doo-diddle-doo-doo, bum-ba-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum.
Anyway, I'm happy that it's coming back. I'm happy that we're getting Disneyland Forever. And if it turns out that the reason we got this one and not something like... Because if it's all about nostalgia, yeah, cool. But if Remember Dreams Come True is getting plussed up, new favorite fireworks show again.
Yeah, start it with Julie
Bring
Andrews
tissues.
again. Yeah,
When that
Hello, I'm
happens.
Julie Andrews.
For reals. We're going to take it out of the parks for a moment. We're going to talk about movies before we head back into the parks in a little bit.
Movies.
Yeah. So, couple things. The Haunted Mansion reboot finally has a date of release. This is something that we've been talking about now for 4 or 5 years?
Yep.
I feel like
At least.
yeah, like I feel like it's been bounced around from person to person. There was the rumor that Guillermo del Toro was going to be the director.
Well, it wasn't even a rumor. It was announced at
Yeah.
D23.
Oh, that's right. It
Yeah,
was D23.
you're right.
They're like, here
I
it
forgot
is.
about that.
And then he's like, I didn't find a script. I couldn't come up with a script I liked, so he gave up, I guess.
I mean, look, there's a part of me that respects that, right? Like he wants to maintain his own integrity as a director, and if he couldn't find anything that was good, he didn't want to just put something together. So
True.
there's a part of me that really respects that. There's the part of me that really likes the mansion that's saying like, yo, dude, seriously? Just make a movie already. But it looks like this new Disney's Haunted Mansion film is set to release in theaters on March 10th, 2023, directed by Justin Simeon. And the screenplay will be written by Katie Dippold of Parks and Recreation fame. Some of the information that's been released as far as who is involved, it's going to be starring Lakeith Stanfield, Owen Wilson. Like, wow, Wow, look at that.
Wow,
The
I'm in the Haunted Mansion.
Wow. Hey,
Wow,
look
there's
at
a
that.
ghost.
Wow,
Yeah.
hitchhikers. Wow. Rosario Dawson is
Wow,
going
a
to be
jet
involved.
ski.
Danny DeVito and Tiffany Haddish. I like the cast so far, especially seeing after what they did with the cast of Muppets Haunted Mansion. I hope that they're able to find like a really happy place like the mansion does between spooky and funny with this cast and anyone else that they end up involving in the project.
There's a word for that, I think. It's spoopy.
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 You rank.
Pretty sure that's the word. Spoopy. I wish I had a Danny DeVito impression just because Danny DeVito's in this, but I don't have one, so I'm not going to try.
We used to do the Schwarzenegger impression from Twins all the time, but that's not related. Never mind. I'm just, old light bulb. I'm super excited about this. Finally glad, it's got a release date. Hopefully they don't change that. Hopefully, like a month from now, we're like,
Right.
oh, well, they didn't like what was written. But now, look, considering that there's a really great writer attached to it, I have high hopes for what's going to come of this. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is actually really big news because there was an announcement about all of the Marvel shows leaving Netflix. And so people started to get a little afraid that, they weren't going to become available. And, for a long time, there was a lot of speculation of whether or not they were considered canon. A lot of people had asked Kevin Feige about them, and they really didn't say much, but it kind of felt like if it didn't come from the people in charge of the MCU, that they weren't really considered canon. And so what's really interesting is that the multiverse and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has really opened up the ability to bring in all of these shows in ways that we never thought were going to be possible. If you've seen Spider-Man, oh man, should we say this? I mean, are we far enough away from the release of Spider-Man No Way Home that we can say, like, do you think people know of the appearance?
I want to say yes, because you know what? By now, there are Spider-Man memes.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool.
why not?
So here we go. I mean, look, if you haven't seen No Way Home and you don't want to know, just look away for 10 minutes. I don't know. I know that looking away doesn't help you because you're listening to this, but,
I was gonna say.
look away or something. So in Spider-Man No Way Home, when Peter gets in trouble, he's talking to a lawyer. And that lawyer just happens to be Matt Murdock, also known as Daredevil. But what's more important is that it is Daredevil, or the Matt Murdock that we've seen in the Netflix version of Daredevil. And so I remember seeing that and kind of gasping, and like my heart was like, wait a second, does this mean that they're canon? Because that would mean that other shows like Jessica Jones and hopefully Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. become canon to the MCU somehow. Now, the announcement was made that all of these shows were going to be leaving Netflix on February 28th. So if you're listening to this episode, they're gone from Netflix. However, it looks like they have found a new home to start, and that is Disney Plus in Canada.
Womp bump ba
Yep.
I don't have my sound effect
Exactly.
machine up.
Wow.
Now, why they chose Canada, I don't know what the thinking behind that is.
Do they got Hulu
But-
in Canada? Maybe they don't have Hulu. I don't know.
Maybe. But the good thing about it is that it does give us hope that they are coming back in some way. Now, we're not going to say that, if you happen to have a VPN, when they come back, I don't know, what was it, like May 20 or March 23rd or something?
March
March
16th.
16th. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if on March 16th you happen to have a VPN that you can start up prior to watching Netflix and that you change your region to Canada, you might be able to watch these shows on Disney Plus even though you are in the US. I'm not here to tell you that. But all we know is that these shows are going to Disney Plus in Canada. So if you haven't watched them, you are doing yourself a disservice, because Jessica Jones was amazing and Daredevil so freaking good.
So good.
But really, the crown jewel of all of those shows is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I know that that was like, you know, on a network and everything, but still, it gives us hope that these shows are going to live somewhere after. And if they happen to be on Disney Plus, and maybe it's on in Canada because they didn't have a contract and they can easily start airing them in Canada, and they're waiting for
True.
contracts to run out in the US before they end up on Disney Plus in the US, you know, or other territories. So keep your fingers crossed. Big news. Really happy that that's happening. Daredevil, go watch it.
Well, we can't
Yes.
anymore.
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if on the day they appear on Disney Plus Canada, you turn on a VPN and change your region to Canada so that when you launch Disney Plus, it thinks you're in Canada so you can watch the shows in Canada. I'm not here to tell you that.
Wink, wink.
So I did look up. Hulu is not available in Canada.
Oh,
So
really?
Disney's only streaming in Canada, it looks like, is Disney Plus. So that's their only option to put them on there. So maybe there's some other stuff with here. Maybe they're going to Hulu eventually here in the United States. Who knows? But that it looks like I just looked up Canada Hulu, and it's like how to watch Hulu in Canada. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't have it then.
Listen, I'm not here to... No, I'm kidding.
Listen,
All
guys,
right,
he's
well-
not here to tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
This joke is bad.
So that's happening. Super glad. So let's go back to the parks, because since we're talking about Marvel, it's the perfect time to talk about this. They have put up a plaque for Stan Lee to celebrate 100 years of his contributions to comic books. It's a fantastic homage to like the legacy of Stan Lee, and to see it as you're walking into Avengers Campus, I just think is one of the most special things that you could see. The plaque reads, "We dedicate Avengers Campus to the incomparable Stan Lee, that person who helps others simply, it should or must be done. And because it is the right thing to do, is indeed without a doubt a real superhero. Thank you, Stan, for inspiring the hero within each of us. You have made us all true believers." And I just hear Stan Lee's voice in my head just yelling, "Excelsior!"
Yep. That is just, it's perfect. I can't wait to see this. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So it looks like this is right on the curve as you're entering into Avengers Campus. I wish this was there when I went last. I mean, now it's one of those things where now I just have to go again. You know, there was so many things I feel
Yeah.
like I missed when I was in Avengers Campus that I didn't get an opportunity to go. Like, one of the things I was really excited to see, because I knew about it in advance, was going to the front of Mission Breakout and seeing the Kirby Crackle on the floor. And we never made it out that far. Like, we were just so, you know, like engulfed in everything else that was happening. You know, like, we were just so
Yeah.
in it that we didn't even make it that far. And so I feel like I have to go back, and there's tons of things that I just want to see and photograph. And like I said, this last time that I went, I just took my phone. Like, I didn't take my camera or anything with me because I wanted to be able to enjoy it. Now I feel like I can go back, you know, with all my gear and actually get some photographs. So I'm excited when I finally get a chance to do that. This has just been like so much like good news. Like, there's been a lot of great stuff happening this week.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
Yeah.
fun stuff.
okay, so the last thing that we wanted to talk about, we mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, and that is the preview of the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser over in Florida. It is directly connected with basically Hollywood Studios so that you can enter Galaxy's Edge from the hotel. Have you had an opportunity to see any of the videos that people were posting or read anything about the experience that people were having while they were there?
I haven't. I haven't had a chance this weekend yet, but I'm like finally catching up. So I'll like go and check it out. I do follow someone who I know is going to be going on a cruise the second, I believe. Second or third. I want to say the second. So it'll be interesting to see like what happens, how things go, but yeah, I'll have to go and check it out. See Twitter, social media, and then just go from there. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
I've seen a lot of things posted, so I guess I can reiterate a little bit what I've seen. A couple of people I follow that I kind of trust to give somewhat level, information, just the facts as opposed to stuff that's too biased, I guess I should say. But it looks like people are saying it was very fun, but they're not sure if it's worth the money. A lot of these people got comped, so they're like, yeah, it was fun, it was great, it got for free. So it was very fun for them, but they said, doesn't seem like it's really worth the money, especially, depending on who you are. The room accommodations, they say, are a little roomier than they look in the photos, but they're still pretty small. The food is I believe they said like Asian fusion kind of style. Looks like a lot of seafood and different stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure on the full menus, and if picky eaters like me would be a fan of the food on the Hacialon or however you say it. But it looked like there's a lot of different character interactions. They had a cool I don't know what the race of alien Greedo is, but they had a Greedo type character, and it talked and walked around and all that stuff, plus the other characters that we knew about. Chewbacca was there.
I think her name is Owani.
Owani, is that the...
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that, there's a lot of original characters for the thing, for the cruiser. I don't know if you saw, Hazen, the lightsaber or the Rey show.
Dude.
Okay.
Well, so
Detail.
they use the lightsaber, the one that everybody's talking about, and so what she does, she's like, "I'm Rey," and the light, clicks the lightsaber, comes out.
Spot on impression, by the way.
"I'm Rey, a little bippity boop.
Nice.
I'm Rey, but I need some portions." Or
Yep.
that's what Rey
Spot
sounds
on.
like. Anyway, so lightsaber comes out, whoosh, and then she sets that lightsaber down, and then picks up the other lightsaber, and then does her little battle with Kylo Ren or whoever she's fighting with. And the fight and all that stuff is cool, but it's kind of silly. I think that they couldn't choreograph that a little nicer to pass off the lightsaber, but
Yeah.
it's very funny that she comes out, Omrai, does the button, sets it down, picks up the other one. So that's a little funny thing. I'm sure will be changing or workshopped a little bit better. Maybe just the one video I saw was weird. Who knows? But I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So there are a handful of people that I just enjoy their content, and a lot of them were invited, to see what the Halcyon was all about. And there's a lot of talk about whether or not the things that they're posting on social media are actually how they feel about it, or if it's like something that they were required to say. You want people to be truthful, and you want people to tell you whether or not something's worth it or not. But a lot of the people that went out to see this for the first time, one, I think are bigger Star Wars fans than any of us are, right? So
Oh yeah.
for many Star Wars fans, lifetime Star Wars fans, living in that world is something that we've all dreamed about, regardless of what your fandom is. Whether it's Harry Potter and you've gone to the Wizarding World, or You know, you've done any type of LARPing in your life. Like, you try to experience these worlds in ways that you normally wouldn't. You try to live them. And so what the Galactic Starcruiser does is it gives you the opportunity to live in that world for 2 days. The argument of whether or not people feel that it's worth it really does come down to how hardcore of a Star Wars fan are you.
Yeah.
I looked at a lot of these videos. I can't see myself spending $6,000 for this, but these are super cool. When you think about it, it's not much more expensive than taking a cruise.
Right.
And this is essentially a docked cruise that happens to be docked next to Hollywood Studios.
Space cruise.
Yeah, it's a space cruise that's on land.
No, it's a space cruise. Come on, man.
It's a space cruise.
Space
yeah, you're
cruise.
right. Space cruise. From the videos, I gathered that when you show up, they put you in a transport, right? That's supposed to take you up to this other ship.
Mm-hmm.
And if I gathered correctly from what I saw, it's very similar to what they do on Rise of the Resistance, where you're supposedly in the pre-show area and you're on a ship and, you know, it gets invaded, you get taken off and stuff like that. So you're kind of on your way somewhere, but this one actually makes it to its destination, right? There's this whole pre-show sort of thing. Then you board the Halcyon, you know, they show you where everything is, then they send you to your room. The rooms, yes, I did see that several people were talking about that the rooms look a lot roomier, or they feel a lot roomier than what they look like in photographs and in videos posted. So that's really good to know. However, if you're kind of playing the part, I understand why they're that small. Originally, I heard people saying, or read rather, not heard. I read people were talking about how it's just so plain and that there's nothing to it. It's like, well, what do you expect? It's not the Ritz-Carlton. Like, it's a spaceship. So aside from that, you know, the windows that they have are super cool because the windows, you can close them so that you don't have any light. But if they open, it looks like you're out in outer space. And you see a bunch of stars and everything. Awesome. Then everything is included, like all of your meals, the experience. I think on the second day, you get an opportunity to go down to Galaxy's Edge and you build a droid and you like have all of these experiences as part of it. Is it worth $6,000? It really depends on how big of a fan you are. Like, if in your lifetime you've thought to yourself, man, I wish I could live in that world, well, this is your chance. You know, I think the breakdown comes down to about $5,000 for 2 people, and then it's $700 for each additional adult or $450 for each additional child that you add to it. So it kind of starts off at $5,000. Now, if you did do the entire $6,000 one, it breaks down to about $1,400 per person. And if you're going on a cruise that's immersive, or that, you know, you love dinner party things or something, this is kind of that to the nth degree, right? You're a part of it, and you got food, and you got all of this experience for $1,400 per person. Like, for a family, it might be a little expensive. But if we got a group of friends together and that like really like Star Wars, and each one paid $1,400, that's a lot more palatable than $6,000 out of pocket for one person or for 2 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it does seem a little more reasonable at that point. And considering what a cruise costs, it's not that much more. The entire show and everything that they presented, like they have like a little nightclub thing that they do, like I think on night 1, night 2 is when the Kylo Ren battle happens. That scene did make me laugh, by the way, when she takes the lightsaber out. Like, I gasped. I was like, yes, it's finally here. And then I saw her go down. I'm like, what is she doing? And then I realized after watching it a couple times, she was switching lightsabers. I get it. Cool. But I think there's a much more creative way of her, you know, doing that, like you mentioned. So, yeah. Overall, the idea that you get a chance to be a part of the Resistance or the First Order, you get tasks that you have to do on the ship, on Batuu, interact with the characters, and I don't know, the entire experience seems like it's really fun. This particular one, I'll say it again, I don't think is for me because I'm just not that big of a Star Wars fan. But honestly, if they did something like this for Marvel, like I feel like I would be like, all right, guys, who's coming with me? $1,400. Let's set it up. Let's do this.
Yeah, no kidding. I was thinking about that too as you were describing how it's just if you were to see it into their eyes. If there is an indie one and they had Club Obi-Wan, yeah, I get it. I would totally want to go through it, experience that. I mean, if they had something similar, it's just, like you said, it's not for everybody. And to those who really, like, they have their heart, like, set on it that they want to do that, let them do that. And you know what? Go have fun. But like I said, I would probably do the same if there was an Indiana Jones one, for sure. Or a Mansion one.
Oh, yes! Yes!
Line and sinker.
Infinitely, yes!
So, yeah, I get it. I get it now. I do. And yeah.
Ah, you just broke me.
I know, I'm sorry.
You just broke me.
So much potential.
Yep.
I know that there was a lot of buzz around that, like, what was it, an Airbnb in
Yes.
the Anaheim area?
Yeah, we talked
Fullerton.
about it.
Fullerton
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
It's right down.
Yeah,
It's
I
close
mean,
by.
it looks amazing, right? They have
Right.
a lot of decor that looks like Haunted Mansion. But if Disney put together an entire hotel, an entire experience where for 2-3 days, whatever it was, full-blown mansion, you're a part of it. Like, let's say that you're trying to figure out what happened to Master Gracie.
Yep.
Or,
And your room is haunted, and your bed floats when you're sleeping.
And you walk down the hallway and some of the doors come in and out and you see it breathing. Yep.
yes. And then you go into a room and you look into a mirror and you see old Gonzo.
Yep.
No, wait, wrong movie. Wrong one.
Yeah, that's the most frightening thing in that whole movie.
That would be the Halloween overlay.
You know what? Now that's what we need is a Muppets overlay for the Haunted Mansion. That's like the summer overlay or something. We got Haunted Mansion Holiday. Now we need the Muppets overlay.
No, here's what we need to do.
What?
Look, I love Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right?
Mhm.
Still beefing over when they put it up, but I get it. They need time, all right? But you know who's never experienced Mansion Holiday? Florida. So I think what they need to do is send Mansion Holiday to Florida for a year, and that year we get Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Holiday.
So for a while, Mansion Holiday just kind of lives in Florida, and they get it, you know, since they've never had it. We get Muppets Haunted Mansion for a while, and then after a few years, we switch it again.
Ooh, you're making
They
Melissa
send
mad.
Muppets Haunted Mansion over to Florida, and we get back Haunted Mansion Holiday.
This is nonsense.
I
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm all
But
for
no,
that. That's fine. Whatever.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's just if it were to stay there permanently, I would be sad. It'd be a
No,
lot
I
of
think
sad
they should
people.
alternate.
Yeah,
5 years
like-
in Florida, 5 years here.
Like the Main Street Electrical Parade. Just send it back and forth.
No, send it back.
So
No,
our
just
pal
let-
Jason,
Back and
our
forth.
pal
That's
Jason
what they do.
posted. Yeah, he posted on our Instagram. He's like, "Hey man, if you don't want the Main Street Electrical Parade, send it back here. We'll gladly take it." And in my head, I'm thinking, "Don't tempt me. If I could make a call, I'd be like, Bobby, bring back paint." But Bobby's
Speed
not there
dial.
anymore. Bobby's not there anymore.
Just a different Bobby.
It's a different Bobby. So, how did we start talking about Mansion?
Star Wars.
The Halcyon. Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser.
Pew pew.
Me in particular, is it for me? No, I'm not a big enough Star Wars fan. But if I was a big enough Star Wars fan, I can see how this is super appealing. Is it worth the $6,000 if you are paying for a family? Again, it just depends on how big of a fan you are. It's any collectible, right? Like an experience or a collectible, you're going to pay as much as what your enjoyment is for that product. You know, and some people may not see the value in paying for it. And I know some people are going to hear me say that and they're not going to be happy with it. But it's the truth. You know, you're going to pay whatever you feel comfortable paying for the experience or product that you want. If they did something like this Marvel or like you said, Mel, Haunted Mansion, I'd be talking to my wife about how we're gonna, I don't know,
Move some
Kids
funds.
aren't going to
Move some
college
funds
anymore.
around.
We're going to the Marble Hotel.
Yeah. It's like, kids, we're selling all your stuff. We're going to this mansion thing. So yeah, I guess time will tell as far as what more we get, what more information we get. I think the idea of everything that they're doing is kind of cool. I would love to see them expand to other properties. Wink, wink, Marvel. But yeah, probably in a month or so when more people get an opportunity to go. Here's the other thing that worries me about this entire experience. I will say that when they have these preview events, everyone that's going to the preview gets a visual of what the optimal experience is, right? But what is it going to look like when it's not optimal, when there's a bunch of people around and everyone else is trying to have the same experience as you? Nobody had to stand in a line really to get their food. What is it going to be like when 800 people are trying to stand in line to get their little bento boxes of food? There was, I don't know, 20 to 30 people in the room from the videos that I was watching of people doing lightsaber training. What is it going to look like when 200 people are trying to do lightsaber training? So there is a bit of a difference. And so once more information comes out, I think you'll get a better understanding of how things are flowing, what type of experience you're going to get outside of what the preview event is. That's really what I'm going to be interested in, and how it's going to be tweaked to fit the demand of the people that are coming. I know that there was the question, I think I even asked, are people really even going to pay it? How soon is it going to be before we start seeing 2-for-1 deals or something like that? Now that I've seen these videos, it's going to be a while. I think it's going to be a while because there's going to be enough interest that at least for a year or two, people are going to be paying for this. Unless the experience diminishes. If the experience diminishes because there's a larger amount of people, then we might start to see some of that stuff. But, let's give it some time and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I saw, a lot of the posts I was seeing, it looks like you are, it is your Star Wars story, the thing that they like to use. You get a story. You're on the data pad all the time, and you're following different things. So everybody, depending on how you play it, you get sent to different places at different times. So I'm sure that's, Disney has this long cruise experience. So I'm sure that they know how to manage these people, and the facility is similar to a cruise. So I have a feeling that their lines should be pretty well managed, especially since, some people are going to the engineering room first, and some people are doing light training first, and the lightsaber training, and some people are going to see Chewbacca or whatever. And then I'm also, assuming, we'll see what comes of, all the different scheduling things, but dinner on a cruise, it's okay, there's the 7 o'clock sitting, the 7:30 sitting, the 8 o'clock sitting, for dinner. So I'm assuming that they're going to be implementing a lot of the cruise structure onto the this experience here. So here's hoping that they've figured it out to make it a great experience for everybody. And then another thing is when you go Tubatu, that's fun to say, Tubatu. Anyway, you get a boarding group for Rise of Resistance, and you get a boarding group for Millennium Falcon. You just boom, and other people. I don't know if this is part of just the preview or if everybody gets an Oga's reservation, and having these options to do all this stuff. But you also get a Hollywood Studios ticket where you can, while you're there, you can go to Toy Story Land or ride Tower of Terror, whatever you want while you're there. But you get a cool magic band included, and when you go Tubatu, you get this little I think it's like a necklace or a pin or something that you wear that tells the cast members that you're on the cruise, and you get the concierge service. I can't talk today. But your concierge service, but so they know you're on a mission, and you're down on Batu to follow the stuff that's on your data pad and do all this different stuff and da 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 da. So you've got stuff to do, and that's what I've heard is like your days are packed. Your 2 days there are nonstop go go go. So there's no really relaxing when you're on this cruise, it seems like. So no like aqueduct to swim at or whatever like on a regular cruise, but it just seems like a lot. So it's gonna be, like you said, interesting to see when all of the everything comes out and the people that are paying for it have their 2 cents to add to the conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place for us to end the podcast. If you have any thoughts on anything that you've seen about the Galactic Starcruiser, or really any thoughts on anything that we talked about in the episode, join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You can also join us over on our Discord server. And let's talk about some of this stuff. Again, I have to admit that thinking about what it was and how little was available, it didn't sound appealing. And even now, I will say that there is a part of the experience and a part of this that does seem appealing, and it does seem like it would be fun. However, a lot of the experience would be, like, I feel might be lost on me because I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. But you bring in that Marvel stuff, you bring in that mansion stuff, you bring in that type of experience, take my money.
Yeah.
I'm all over it. I am here for it. So, all right. By the way, Andrew, last week's episode of Disneyland, super fun.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've totally forgot. I spaced when we recorded last. I didn't say anything about it, so I'm glad people are enjoying it. I know I got a message on Instagram and on Discord about people are enjoying the episodes, so I'm really happy that people are having a good time listening. Who messaged me? Adriana messaged me and just said that she really liked the episode, and it gave her some insight onto her past Walt Disney World trip, so I'm glad that was helpful. But yeah, I'm glad people are enjoying the show. I like making it. So yeah, if you got anything you want me to cover, you're interested about, post it on Discord or send an email or wherever you want to get in contact with me, Instagram, and we'll try and work it in the show. I'll build the show to what anybody what you guys want to listen to. I'll be happy to cover any topics you guys are interested, because I'm just pulling stuff. I'm just like, what can I think of? Oh, okay. It's just like off the dome, like, or I'll just go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole of like, okay, start with the Walt Disney Company and then click links until I find something interesting.
That's it.
But hey, so far every episode that you've put out has just been so good. It's so fun. This last one had some Simpsons stuff in there if you're a Simpsons trivia nerd. So it's a really fun opportunity to learn some things that you may not know, or acquire additional information about things you may already know, so that next time you're in the parks or next time you're with friends, you can say, hey,
did you know?
All right,
a world famous segment.
Right. So I think that's where we are going to end today's episode. So until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Part of the Podketeers Network.